Yeah, hi, it's me. I wasn't actually recording my proper microphone for this, so the audio might be a little bit bad. I hope it's not too bad. Let's let this idiot talk. Hello, it's me. I'm back after getting rid of loads of my videos, and if you're a long-term subscriber, you know that I used to do very different content, and this is very different. So I wanted to do a little run over the Nosferatu movie I saw just about a week ago now. No, but I just wanted to do like a little kind of skim over the film, my thoughts and opinions on it. I know it came out quite a while ago now in film time, but I found it a really interesting film. Good one or a bad one, that's up for decision on certain aspects, but it was definitely interesting. In my opinion, Robert Eggers is quite out there. He's a very experimental filmmaker, and you know, sometimes that's good and sometimes it can lead to a pretty mid-range film, if you ask me. I feel like experimental and good doesn't always cross. Sometimes experimental can be that, and the experiment didn't work. The Lighthouse was decent. I enjoyed watching it. Well, enjoyed is a very layman term.
Fortnite.
I mean more like it was an interesting viewing, and I think that's the most you can say for Robert Eggers films, is they're interesting. He worked really closely with his cinematographer, Jaron Blaschke. I probably said that wrong. I'll throw up the pronunciation now so I look like an idiot.
Jaron Blaschke.
And the cinematography definitely does benefit from this because his work is absolutely amazing. You always know it's a Robert Eggers film when you see the cinematography. He does a lot of shots where someone's in the middle of the frame, some wide ones as well, but again, he likes to do 4x3, which I have a bit of a personal difference to. I feel like 4x3 in cinema now is kind of like, you don't need that anymore. Whatever you want, if you want to tighten the frame, you can do that in shot. You can have like 2 columns and so on in between, and that's closing off the frame. You don't have to limit the entire film to this boxy aspect ratio. It's a dead medium, and I don't like seeing it in modern cinema, in my opinion, but if that's what you like, then go be pretentious yourself.
Like so pretentious.
Yeah.
Something very pretentious.
All right. I feel like we're in the middle of a thing.
I just want to say this real quick. This video is going to contain minor spoilers. Actually, no, probably major spoilers. But if you haven't watched the film, go watch it if it's like your kind of thing. If you don't really care, then, you know, whatever, keep watching. But the first thing I wanted to get out of the way is Willem Dafoe is phenomenal in that film, as he is in most of the films he's in. But oh my God, his performance sold the entire film for me. Like halfway through he gets introduced. I'll go into more detail about the kind of the pacing. His acting performance is just amazing. Like throughout the entire rest of the film, his line delivery, I'm not an actor, I don't know how people act, but the way he does it is great. I mean, at the end of the day, the film is essentially about a vampire moving house closer to his ex, and she cucks some guy. It's a really weird film. Again, I don't know what I expected, but I didn't expect it at the same time. Another thing that goes along well with good cinematography is good lighting. A lot of these shots are just so well lit. The emotions that you can get through lighting are so important. So when you have these kind of lovely dim shots and these kind of dark, gloomy things, and it really portrays that kind of emotion and that feel you want to get from that part of the scene. I gotta say, for a horror film, a lot of it was a bit cheap. The jump scares were a bit like predictable, and you know, at the end of the day, a good jump scare is good. A good, well-earned jump scare, I like that, because if you've earned it, then I'm like, good, you caught me off guard because I was expecting this and then you did this. But in a lot of these scenes, it's kind of like, okay, I know where this is going. You're doing a long, slow, you're panning over that way, panning back, and she's there, and oh, scary. And it's just like, really, like I knew that was gonna happen. I jumped anyway because it's a loud audio stinger in a cinema. But like, you know, I just find that really quite cheap in horror, I think, in horror cinema. I think the unnerving kind of scenes where, you know, something's happening but nothing's jumping out and scaring you, it's so much more enjoyable when you're actually scared and you're unnerved when you're watching the film. You're like, oh my God, where is this place? What's those noises? Or why isn't there any noise? Because that is actually scary. That will stick with me when there's an unnerving atmosphere. I think the start of the film does a decent job at world building. You kind of do get a feel of this kind of German village in the 1800s. It definitely does feel like that, and it does a good job at portraying that and kind of putting you in that world so you know what to expect and, you know, the rules One thing I do want to say is the scenes in Count's Castle, the progression of the film at that point gets a bit rocky. If you're watching it for the first time, you might not understand where you actually are. And I understand the scenes are supposed to be confusing. You're in this kind of evil castle with this evil vampire, and it's not supposed to make any sense, and you are supposed to feel unnerved. But at the same time, it's almost too much to the fact that you have no idea what's going on. Even now, I don't think I remember the exact one-to-one what comes after what scene. They're all kind of mixed up in my head. I'm just remembering them separate. So I kind of feel like that throws you off. And especially if you're watching it for the first time, you can kind of be put off from that bit. You kind of go, oh, what's going on? I don't think this is for me. And it can put you in a bad mood for the rest of the film. And I don't think that's good. I'd say it definitely picks up more in the middle of the film when the professor gets introduced. Willem Dafoe, again, like I said, amazing. It becomes a lot more enjoyable to watch because you have a clearer view of the story and also a better view of where the story's going to go from here. The arrival of Count and Thomas is so perfectly done because you realise all the characters are in one place now, and so the whole rest of the film you're in suspense of what's going to happen. Everyone's here. What's the Count's plan? You know, the plague, what's going on there? How's Thomas and Ellen gonna, you know, defeat this evil? And basically the film ends with Ellen kind of tricking Count Orlok into staying with her until sunlight, and the sunlight kills him and she dies in the process, but she saves everyone else. Like, did you feel good at the ending? A bit, but at the same time, after that whole film, you're kind of like, And here's the complaint. Robert Eggers is way too edgy for his own good. I understand it's art house horror, things are going to be weird, that's great. I love weird and strange. I don't like downright tough to watch though. I think a lot of the stuff with the sex and gore scenes could be cut out a lot. A lot of it should have been more implied than shown. It's not a horror film in the way you get scared. It's a horror film in the fact you go, why the hell did I choose to watch this? Because in my opinion, the story is great. I love the story, but the way they do it, it just turns away so many audiences. A good film, anyone can pick up and watch, because a good film, it's for everyone. And that's the reason why I gave it 2.5 stars on Letterboxd. I hope you did enjoy this video. It's kind of my unscripted thoughts on the film. And I'll see you in another video whenever I upload. See ya.